By 2025, Unilever, one of the largest consumer goods conglomerates on the planet, plans to sever ties with its ice cream division. On paper, this is a product with infinite flavor possibilities, massive proven demand, and a guarantee that consumers will continue to buy it year after year. Yet Unilever isn't alone. Over the last few years, major global players, including Nestle and the supermarket giant Kroger, have systematically offloaded legacy brands like Häagen-Dazs and Turkey Hill to anyone willing to take them. These massive corporate empires spent decades building unrivaled distribution networks, only to concede that traditional economies of scale do not work in this specific market. Back in the 1990s and 2000s, the strategy was straightforward. Buy up beloved names like Ben & Jerry's or Häagen-Dazs, merge their manufacturing infrastructure, and increase profits through a unified global supply chain. But keeping a highly perishable product frozen from a factory floor to a grocery store aisle requires continuous energy. Add in extreme temperature volatility and the fluctuating costs of dairy, sugar, and cocoa, and the profit ceiling locks into place. This chart compares Unilever's ice cream against other core categories. Over 2 decades, ice cream grew just 4%. Peaking in efficiency, management turned to shrinkflation. In 2009, Nestle reduced Häagen-Dazs pints from 16 down to 14 ounces, charging the same price. A physical container can only be shrunk so many times before buyers notice they are paying more for less product. The physical reality of preserving a frozen, seasonal good eventually destroys the basic laws of corporate growth and economies of scale. The entities stepping in to buy up these discarded assets are primarily private equity firms. In 2019, a Parisian firm bought Nestlé's division at a 20% premium for $4 billion, folding it into a joint venture called Froneri. The strategy relies on extracting double-digit returns out of the exact same factories and freezers that defeated a titan like Nestlé. This diagram illustrates Froneri's actual cash flow. Revenue comes in, but because the firm borrowed massive amounts of capital to finance the acquisition, the operating income is eaten up by the interest payments on that debt. With margins hovering around 10% and zero net profit remaining, management is once again banking on cost-cutting while looking for ways out, either by raising more funds or pushing for an IPO. The survival of these legacy premium brands currently functions as a financial illusion, sustained by debt rather than product profitability. That financial pressure extends all the way down to the neighborhood scoop shop. Retail concepts that dominated the 2000s, like Cold Stone and Baskin-Robbins, have experienced a mirrored stagnation. This chart breaks down the math facing a prospective franchisee today. The upfront cost to open a Cold Stone sits at $584,000, overshadowing the median gross revenue of $531,000. With the median store grossing less than the cost of entry, the number of locations has steadily fallen, with Cold Stone shrinking from over 1,000 shops to roughly 800. Despite these historical constraints, a new wave of venture-backed boutique brands like Van Leeuwen and Jenny's are attempting to blink at the market with new storefronts and pints. These startups are single-product businesses that have burned millions of dollars year after year. They lack the manufacturing infrastructure, cross-selling synergies, and shared distribution networks that even the global conglomerates found insufficient to maintain healthy margins. This surge in premium independent shops relies on external capital infusions to offset stagnant earnings, creating a retail presence that remains detached from the industry's low-margin history. The operators generating reliable cash flow in this environment are doing so by staying small and rejecting the traditional manufacturing model. Take Sam's Fried Ice Cream on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Rather than sinking $50,000 into an industrial ice cream machine, Sam buys pre-made commercial tubs in bulk from Hershey's. He takes a generic scoop, fries it, and sells the result to nightlife crowds for $9.50 a portion. His tiny storefront nets a modest $81,000 a year. The actual profit comes from traveling to over 100 street fairs every summer, where 50,000 attendees allow him to process 10 orders a minute with low overhead. At this level, the only way to survive the margin trap is to eliminate manufacturing costs and operate as a high-speed arbitrage. Another viable path to longevity is avoiding the retail consumer. John, the owner of Il Laboratorio del Gelato, has outlasted 2 decades of dessert trends by refusing to participate in the retail frenzy. Instead of fighting for foot traffic, his primary targets are professional chefs. He acts as an exclusive supplier for nearly 400 high-end restaurants across New York, shipping custom, high-quality gallons directly to commercial kitchens. Supplying a restaurant neutralizes the industry's greatest vulnerability, seasonality. Professional kitchens must serve desserts year-round, ensuring consistent, bulk orders regardless of the weather outside. This steady volume allows the wholesale side of his operation to gross nearly $200,000 a month. By comparison, his attempt to run a second retail storefront yielded an operating margin of barely 9%. True longevity in this sector requires abandoning the pursuit of mass consumer scale in favor of precise institutional partnerships. The modern ice cream industry reverses traditional business logic. It punishes the sprawling ambitions of multinational empires while rewarding the local precision of independent operators. A massive multi-billion-dollar debt bubble currently holds up all of the legacy brands owned by private equity firms. When this frozen financial bubble finally bursts, who is going to be left to take the catastrophic hit?